Welcome to Sleepy Cuties. Wherever you're watching from, tucked in tight, wrapped in a blanket, or peeking from a pillow, you're just in time. Above the clouds, where dreams still float, a tiny figure curls up on a drifting puff of white. A small shell rises and falls in gentle breaths. It's Togepi, fast asleep. Now the cloud floats lower, drifting down into a peaceful meadow kissed by morning light. Something wonderful is about to begin. Nestled beneath a dandelion leaf, Togepi stirs. One little arm stretches, then the other. A soft yawn, a blink, and those bright eyes open wide with wonder. Nearby, Igglybuff and Cleffa snooze in a circle of clover. Pichu curls up beside a pebble, twitching in a dream. Dew sparkles on the grass. Everything is calm. Togepi wobbles to its feet and toddles forward, carefully stepping over sleeping Petali. The day is new, and there's something in the air, something magical. At the edge of a puddle, Togepi pauses. The surface reflects a round little face with curious eyes and a shell marked like a child's drawing. Togepi tilts its head. The reflection does too. Giggling, it taps the water, and the image ripples away. A gentle gust brushes the flowers. A hoppip drifts by, sleepy but smiling, carried by the breeze. Togepi watt under a berry tree. Golden fruit glows in the sun. Togepi nudges one with its head. Plop. It lands in the grass, ripe and sweet. Cleffa joins in, sleepy but giggling. Together they nibble at the soft fruit, juice dripping down their chins. One berry becomes two. Then Pichu wakes up and joins them, cheeks full and smiling wide. The little Pokémon sit in a loose circle, sharing bites, trading berries. No words, just happy eyes and quiet joy. Even the morning breeze seems to slow down to watch. Chested float up into the light, then a soft bounce. One step forward into the day. In the middle of a sunlit hill, wildflowers sway. Togepi steps into the tall grass, arms out, spinning slowly. The others follow. Igglybuff hums a tune only the heart can hear. The petals flutter. Butterfree pass overhead, wings trailing color like brushstrokes. Togepi closes its eyes, turning gently in place. A soft smile, a spin, then a playful tumble into the grass, tiny limbs wiggling as the sky rolls by overhead. Just beyond the hill, where meadow turns to woods, something catches the light. A shiny pebble half buried in the soil. Togepi leans in close. A Budew peeks from the underbrush. Their eyes meet. Not a word, just a moment. Togepi offers the pebble. Budew, shy and surprised, accepts it with a little bow. They sit quietly together, watching the shadows sway beneath the trees. The sun has climbed a little higher. Togepi toddles back to the dandelion leaf. Cleffa and Igglybuff are already curled up again, full from berries, tired from laughter. Togepi settles in between them, holding the tiniest flower petal in its hand. Eyes flutter closed, a small breath, a sigh. Everything is still again. And above the meadow, the breeze carries a promise. This is just the beginning. The morning passed quietly. Togepi stirred first. The petal it had held now rested on the ground, folded softly by the breeze. Cleffa shifted in its sleep, and Igglybuff rolled onto its back with a tiny squeak. Pichu's ears twitched once, then stilled again. Togepi stood slowly, careful not to wake the others. The meadow shimmered. Golden light sparkled through blades of grass, and far beyond the hill beckoned with its soft slope and hidden secrets. The tiny Pokémon walked slowly, the dew cool beneath its feet. A blade of grass, taller than its shell, bent low, brushing gently along its back like a mother's hand. At the top of the hill, a new world unfolded. Trees stood like quiet giants. their leaves whispering in the morning hush. Sunbeams slanted through the canopy, catching dust like fireflies. A trail wound between two mossy stones, leading into the woods. Togepi hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward. A chikorita blinked from behind a tree. They exchanged curious glances, one cautious, one wide-eyed. The green leaf atop Chikorita's head swayed slowly. Togepi tilted its head, then took a step closer. A shared moment, no need for words. Just peace. Together they padded along the soft path. Pebbles crunched lightly underfoot. Small mushrooms glowed faintly under the shadows. A Yoltik watched from a branch, its tiny yellow body barely moving. Nothing rushed. Everything breathed. Chikorita brushed its leaf along a low branch. A few pink blossoms fell, landing gently in Togepi's hands. A gift, perhaps. Togepi clutched them with care, smiling. Further ahead, the trees opened to reveal a stream. Water drifted slowly over smooth stones, curling around the roots of the trees. Togepi touched the surface. Ripples danced across it, sparkling. Reflections shimmered like glass. For a moment, everything looked like a dream remembered. Chikorita dipped its head and drank, then nudged a flat rock toward the water's edge. Togepi climbed onto it carefully, looking around with bright eyes. From a nearby bush, a shy lotad peeked out. It blinked, then, encouraged by the stillness, waddled closer and sat beside the stream. Soon a few surskit joined, skating quietly on the surface. The stream seemed to welcome them all. Togepi sat with its feet in the water. The blossoms floated beside it, drifting like memories. Chikorita rested nearby, its leaf shading them both. Above them, the sky remained cloudless. Time felt slow and kind. Later, as shadows shifted, Togepi stood again. It gave Chikorita a small bow, one it had seen Cleffa do once after sharing a treat. Chikorita bowed back gently and low. No goodbyes were needed, just understanding. Back through the forest, the trail now familiar. Butterflies danced ahead, leading the way. A patch of light welcomed Togepi back to the meadow. The others were still resting, though Pichu had begun to stir, blinking groggily towards the sunlight. Togepi settled once more beneath the dandelion leaf, the petals still in its hands. Its breath slowed. The breeze curled around the meadow, carrying the quiet joy of a gentle morning. Not every adventure is loud. Clouds gathered while the meadow yawned in soft gray. The air thickened with the scent of wet grass before a single drop landed on Togepi's shell. Another followed, then another. The rain began without hurry. Togepi looked up, blinking, as cool droplets tickled its face. Cleffa stirred, covering its head with a leaf. Igglybuff rolled closer to the dandelion stem, and Pichu huddled next to the soft moss. But Togepi stayed where it was, feeling each raindrop like a tiny kiss from the sky. The meadow darkened slightly, colors deepening under the weight of water. A petilil gently folded its leaves, bowing low. Yoltik scurried beneath a curled leaf. Even the breeze seemed quieter now, moving with care. Togepi stood slowly and stepped out from the leaf shelter, eyes wide. Rain slid over its shell, pooling into the dips between the red and blue triangles. It held out its arms, catching the sky. A puddle formed quickly nearby. Togepi splashed into it, 1 foot at a time, then both feet at once. Water leapt into the air, landing back with gentle applause. From the trees, Chikorita appeared again. Its leaf was damp but steady. It gave a small nod as it approached. Together they looked toward a hollow in the roots of a wide tree, dark, warm, and dry. Inside, soft dirt welcomed small feet. Moss lined the corners, and the roof of roots tangled like a woven basket. Chikorita curled up first. Togepi followed, brushing droplets from its shell before tucking itself beside the larger Pokémon. Outside, the rain thickened. It It slid down leaves and tapped gently on the hollow roof. The world slowed, wrapped in hush. A soft flutter announced the arrival of Cutie-Flea, wings trembling from the rain. It hovered near the entrance, and Chikorita moved to make space. Soon Lotad waddled in, a large leaf balanced over its head like an umbrella. One by one, small forest Pokémon gathered in the hollow, drawn by warmth. No one spoke. They didn't need to. Raindrops kept the rhythm. Togepi, nestled between Chikorita and Igglybuff, let its eyes drift closed for a moment. Everything was quiet but alive. The scent of earth, the softness of fur against fur, the closeness of friends without a single word. Rain began to lighten. Drops slowed. The forest let out a long breath. Togepi blinked awake just as sunlight broke gently through the clouds. The hollow glowed with gold again. A few rays warmed the entrance. Outside, the world shimmered in silver from the rain's touch. Leaves sparkled like they'd been dusted with stars. Togepi stood and stepped back into the open, tiny feet pressing into wet grass. Its reflection waited in a new puddle, smiling back. Cleffa bounded out next, slipping slightly in the mud, laughing without sound. Igglybuff joined. Chikorita followed with a calm pace, water still dripping from its leaf. The group gathered in the open space where drops still fell gently from trees. They danced, not fast but free. A puddle splash, a spin, a shared glance, laughter in glances and gestures alone. Later the meadow dried slowly. Togepi, muddy and content, lay back on the warm stone at the hill's base. The clouds were breaking. Light painted the sky again. From above, a rainbow stretched faintly between treetops, arching like a secret. Togepi watched it quietly, fingers resting on its chest, as if holding a piece of that light inside. The meadow cooled. The trees cast longer shadows and the sky deepened into violet. The rainbow faded, but the memory of it lingered, like a secret smile between friends. Togepi sat near the puddle that now barely rippled. The water reflected a darkening sky, and one by one stars began to appear, tiny glimmers far and soft. A gentle hum filled the air, not a sound but a feeling, something slow and steady like the breath of the world before sleep. Cleffa pressed the flower crown onto Togepi's head, then placed one on its own. Igglybuff was already curled up in a patch of clover, and Pikachu chased a drifting feather across the meadow, tail high. Togepi looked upward. A light flickered, then another. A pair of Illumise floated above the treetops, leaving trails of golden dust behind. The air glowed in their wake. More lights joined. Volbeat danced in spirals, rising slowly like floating lanterns. The sky became a swirl of quiet motion. Soft wings, soft lights, soft night. Togepi stood and followed. Down a path laced with moonlight, across mossy stones now glistening from the day's rain, the lights guided the way. Between tall ferns and over a fallen log, the world felt wrapped in silk. Fireflies blinked from branches, in patterns that made no sound but told stories. A family of Moralo blinked sleepily under a root arch, casting faint spores that shimmered like stardust. Togepi paused, eyes wide, then reached out. A single glow landed on its hand, warm and pulsing like a heartbeat. Up ahead, a clearing opened. A pond mirrored the sky above, and the sky answered. The reflection of stars and lights rippled with the smallest breeze. Pokémon gathered in small clusters. Lotad floated calmly across the water, while a group of Oddish gently swayed at the edge, their eyes half closed in peace. Togepi stepped forward, placing a foot into the water. The pond accepted it without a ripple. The night accepted everything. In the middle, a cluster of Ladiba hovered, wings still, as if suspended by the hush itself. Behind them, the moon rose, round and golden, watching. Togepi lay down at the edge of the pond, surrounded by flickering lights. A shroomish nestled beside it without asking. The flower crown slipped gently from Togepi's head into the water, where it floated quietly among the stars. Time passed differently now, not slower, just softer. Eyes blinked sleepily. Heads leaned gently into shoulders. The lights above shimmered, then gradually dimmed, not because they faded, but because sleep was drawing the eyes away. Togepi closed its eyes. The glow still danced on the inside of its lids. Above, the stars kept watch. The moon kept time, and the meadow breathed with them. Morning returned with gold in its hands. A soft breeze passed over the sleeping pond. The fireflies had drifted away, and the water now held only the faintest shimmer from the moon's memory. The flower crown had settled along the edge, petals damp but still bright. Togepi stirred, eyes fluttering open, to a sky already awake. The first thing it saw was a new face. A small Swablu, all fluff and lightness, stood nearby, head tilted. It blinked once, then hopped forward, curious but gentle. Togepi sat up slowly, not startled, just surprised. They looked at one another for a long moment, as if deciding quietly whether to smile. Then they did. Swablu extended a wing, brushing a stray clover off Togepi's shell. Togepi giggled, standing fully now, flower crown forgotten. Something new had arrived in the morning, something with wings and a song that hadn't yet been sung. They wandered through the meadow together, moving toward the hill, where light fell like silk across the grass. The others still slept, curled in soft shapes beneath leafy blankets, but the breeze tugged at the grass as if inviting the day forward. Swablu began to hum, not a song to be heard, but one to be felt. Togepi followed along, bobbing slightly with each step. Their rhythm was playful but soft, like laughter under a blanket. They paused by a cluster of bellsprouts swaying in the sunlight. One leaned down and offered a tiny droplet of water caught in its curled leaf. Swablu took it politely. Togepi bowed low in thanks, mimicking the motion of Chikorita from days before. Further along, they found a log dappled with sunlight and moss. Sitting side by side, they watched as a row of sunkern bobbed up and down nearby, as if practicing a little dance. Swablu flapped its wings once in rhythm. Togepi clapped softly in time. The sunkern wobbled joyfully, all smiles and tiny leaf wiggles. Suddenly, a rustle in the grass. A small round face poked through. A whooper, mud-speckled and smiling wide. It chirped quietly, blinking both eyes. Togepi approached, and Whooper did a happy bounce in place. Swablu circled around, then landed gently beside them. Togepi reached out a hand. Whooper placed its muddy tail in Togepi's palm. A little mess. A lot of joy. The three now sat in the grass. No plan, no words, just sunlight and soft company. They took turns stacking little stones, building tiny towers that leaned and fell and leaned again. With each topple, a shared pause, then shared laughter without a sound. By midday, the sun was warm but not heavy. A faint breeze still moved through the trees. Petals fell from high branches in no hurry at all. Togepi lay back, arms open. Swablu lay on its back too, wings stretched. Whooper rolled sideways into a patch of moss, still smiling. The quiet between them wasn't empty, it was full of trust. From the hilltop, the meadow stretched wide, and the trees swayed softly and silent. The world felt known now, not just big and beautiful, but kind. Togepi closed its eyes, not to sleep, but to keep the feeling from spilling. A new friend, a soft surprise, and still. One more story awaiting just beyond the breeze. The light began to tilt. Not gone, just lower. The shadows were longer now, stretching softly across the meadow as if trying to hold the day in their arms. The breeze had calmed. The trees, still. Togepi sat quietly at the top of the hill, Swablu resting with its head tucked beneath one wing, and Whooper curled on its side, tail in the grass. All around the world was gently folding inward. The dandelion leaf below caught the fading light like a cradle. From here, Togepi could see the pond, the stream, the soft path through the trees, and the space where fireflies once danced like stars. Every place they had wandered felt close now, wrapped around the hill like a memory. Togepi stood, taking one last look toward the forest. Chikorita was there, watching from the edge of the trees. A quiet bow. Not a call to come, just a thank you. Togepi bowed back, arms to its chest. Swablu lifted its head, then rose into the air without a sound. It hovered for a moment, drifting slowly across the sky. It looked back once, a blink, a goodbye that didn't feel like an ending. Whooper gave a cheerful bounce, then toddled toward the stream. Mud clung to its feet, a trail left behind playful and soft. Togepi turned and walked down the hill. At the base, Igglybuff was stirring. Cleffa rubbed its eyes. Pichu had already woken, chasing sunbeams across the clover. They welcomed Togepi back without questions. The kind of welcome that says, "We're glad you're here again." They sat together in the same small circle where the story began. Berries were passed between hands, giggles floated, shoulders touched. Togepi held a tiny, smooth stone in its hand, one found near the pond, still faintly warm from the day. It placed it on the ground in the center of the circle. No ceremony, just love. As the sun dipped lower, they watched it go without speaking. The wind moved through the meadow, touching each leaf gently as if saying good night. The clouds above turned peach and lilac. One by one, stars returned to the sky, not dancing now, just watching. Togepi lay back once more, arms behind its head, shell cradled by moss, the others curled around. A flower petal drifted from above and landed softly on Togepi's chest. Eyes closed, not asleep, just still, still and full. The meadow breathes. The sky fades into velvet, and somewhere under a dandelion leaf, a gentle spirit rests with joy in its heart. Thank you for visiting. Sleep well, little one. Wherever you are, snuggled warm, safe, and quiet, you're just in time. The sun has only just begun to touch the sea. A low tide laps gently across pale sand. Foam curls, soft and slow, around smooth stones. In a sheltered cove, tucked beneath a cliffside, small Pokémon sleep in a soft cluster by the water's edge. Lapras rests nearby, curled against a wide rock. Its shell glistens with dew. Eyes closed, breath steady. Its flippers rise and fall with the tide, almost as if it's dreaming in rhythm with the ocean. Tucked beneath its neck, a tiny Azurill snoozes soundly, gently rocking with every breath. A sleeping Wingull balances on a bit of driftwood nearby, and 3 sleepy Pyukumuku are half buried in the warm, wet sand. The beach is quiet, wrapped in the morning's hush. Lapras stirs. Not all at once, just a twitch of its ear, then the gentle lift of one eyelid. The ocean glows in gold now, the sky still pink where dreams linger. Lapras slowly straightens its neck, careful not to disturb Azurill curled beside it. A small sigh leaves its throat, the kind that comes not from tiredness but from readiness, the kind of sigh that begins a new day. Lapras looks out across the sea. Far, far beyond the horizon is home. And today, the journey begins. It lifts its head. Water runs down the curve of its shell like silver threads. It steps forward into the shallows, waves welcoming it back with a soft rush against its body. Azurill stirs and blinks, then smiles. A quiet nudge, a glance to the horizon. Azurill bounces onto Lapras's back, settling into the shallow curve near its neck. It chirps once, still half asleep but ready. Lapras begins to glide forward, slow and smooth. The ocean parts like silk. Behind them, Cleffa waddles from a shady tide pool, waving. Wingull lifts into the air, spiraling once above their heads. Even the sleepy Pukumuku seem to shift just enough to notice, just enough to say, safe travels. Lapras leaves the cove. The open sea lies ahead, stretching into soft blue. A pod of mantake surfaces nearby, bobbing alongside them in playful rhythm. Lapras watches them leap gently into the air, flipping once, then diving again. Azurill claps with tiny paws, laughing without a sound. They pass beneath a cliff where moss grows thick and the water turns clear and deep. Corsola bloom along the rocks below, glowing faintly in the sunlight like underwater flowers. Lapras slows, allowing Azurill to peer down at the coral, eyes wide with wonder. Above them, Pelipper fly in slow formation, like clouds with wings. Lapras turns its head slightly, not to look back, but to feel where it came from. The cove is no longer in sight. The shore has faded behind the sea's curve, but the warmth remains, in its shell, in its heart. The sea ahead is calm, the wind is gentle. And somewhere past it all is home. Not just a place, but voices, familiar ones, waiting. Lapras picks up speed just a little, enough to feel the breeze shift. The sun rises higher, and the journey begins in full. The sea is wide now. Lapras moves smoothly through the open water, each stroke of its flippers slow and sure. Azurill rests quietly against its neck, the gentle rocking of the journey lulling it into a calm daze. Waves rise and fall like deep breathing. The sun glints on the surface, turning the sea into glass. But far ahead, the light begins to blur. A pale mist forms across the horizon, soft at first, then thickening. The fog arrives like a whisper. Lapras slows, lifting its head. The sound of the ocean narrows, muffled in the hush. Even the sky seems to pause. The water grows still, as if listening. Azurill stirs slightly, sensing the shift. It presses closer. Lapras continues forward, calm and steady. Its reflection disappears into the mist, leaving only the ripples behind. The world is suddenly smaller now, only what's close, only what's near. A shape appears beneath the surface. Faint at first, drifting like shadow. Lapras pauses. The shape moves slowly, then rises closer. It's another Lapras, just the echo of one, formed by light and memory. A reflection in the deep. Lapras watches it for a long moment. It doesn't move fast, doesn't flee. It lingers, then fades as the real one moves ahead. Azurill reaches over the side and touches the water. The surface shivers gently. A flock of Wingull flies silently above, only their silhouettes visible through the haze. One calls out softly and disappears again into the mist. Lapras breathes in slowly. It remembers this feeling. The fog, the silence, the way the world folds in close. Somewhere in the stillness, a distant voice once called its name. It's not fear, it's something else. Not loss, not sadness, just space. Room for memory to float. The fog thins a little. The sky begins to show above once more. Lapras moves on. Below, the ocean grows darker. Shapes of kelp drift in lazy spirals. A lantern blinks once beneath the surface, its glow like a lighthouse in miniature. Lapras follows the glow with its eyes. It fades downward into the quiet. A current tugs gently from the side. Lapras adjusts. Azurill leans its weight, countering the pull without thinking. Together they move around a large rock formation jutting from the sea. Barnacles line its sides. A lone crabby waves from the top and disappears behind the spray. A single drop of rain falls. Then another. The fog is almost gone now, replaced by a low gray sky day. The sea ripples with tiny circles. Azurill lifts its head toward the sky, letting the rain touch its face. Lapras does the same, flippers still, drifting with the rhythm of falling drops. They float like that for a long moment, quietly held between sky and sea. The rain passes. The clouds break. A warm breeze arrives from the south, brushing the fog away entirely. The horizon returns, blue and open once more. Behind them, the mist still lingers, soft and slow, like a curtain being drawn back. Lapras breathes deeply. Ahead, a thin strip of rock peaks above the water, a small, crescent-shaped island. Smooth stones, a single palm, a place to rest. Lapras turns toward it, the ocean calm beneath. It glides closer. The island waits quietly. Lapras drifts into the shallow water, the waves barely touching the smooth stones beneath. Azurill peers out from its place near Lapras's neck, eyes wide with curiosity. The beach is still, the air warm but not heavy. Palm leaves sway lightly in a breeze that smells of salt and something new, something old. Lapras steps onto the sand, flippers pressing softly, leaving a small prints behind. Azurill hops down beside it, shaking off a sprinkle of seawater. Together they wander along the shore. The sand feels soft beneath the feet. Tiny shells scatter like scattered stars. Occasionally, a crab darts sideways, vanishing beneath a rock. Something catches Lapras's eye. A trail of prints, smaller than its own but unfamiliar. They lead inland, winding past a cluster of bright flowers and around a patch of ferns that whisper in the breeze. Lapras follows, gentle and slow. Azurill bounces alongside. The footprints end at a hollow carved between two ancient trees. The space glows faintly in the dappled sunlight. Inside the hollow, a carved wooden figure stands, a small statue shaped like a Pokémon unknown to Lapras. Its eyes seem to gleam softly as the breeze moves through the leaves. Azurill steps forward and touches the statue's hand. The wood is smooth and warm, as if it had been held 1,000 times. A soft hum rises from the trees. A song, wordless and sweet, carried by the wind. Lapras closes its eyes, listening. The island speaks in gentle tones, stories of journeys, of homecomings, of waiting. A rustle nearby draws their gaze. A small, shy Pokémon peeks out. A Marill, water blue and bright-eyed. It steps cautiously but smiles when it sees Lapras and Azurill. Marill nods, then gestures toward the sea. Lapras feels the pull, too, the longing of the waves calling, the promise of what lies beyond. The island is a resting place, a pause on the journey. Azurill and Marill sit side by side on a warm rock. Lapras lies down nearby, its shell cooling in the shade. The sun shifts slowly. Shadows lengthen. The wind carries more whispers, stories of those who traveled far and those who waited patiently. And deep inside, Lapras feels it. A quiet pulse. The gentle heartbeat of the sea, steady and sure. The journey is not over. It has only just begun. The sun climbed higher. The island's shadows faded as Lapras and Azurill returned to the water's edge. The sea sparkled like a field of diamonds, each wave catching the light and tossing it playfully towards the sky. Maril waved a little goodbye from the shore, watching them with bright eyes. Lapras slipped into the water, smooth and silent, Azurill settling back upon its neck. The gentle rocking began again. Ahead, the open ocean stretched wide and welcoming. A sudden splash echoed nearby. Lapras turned. A familiar shape broke the surface of Gyarados, but not wild or fierce. Its scales glimmered soft and calm, and its eyes held warmth. The two Pokémon locked eyes, and a quiet understanding passed between them. Stories shared in silence. Gyarados circled once and then swam alongside Lapras, matching its steady pace. Azurill squeaked happily. The sea seemed to pulse with their shared joy, old friends reunited by the waves. Lapras and Gyarados moved forward, gliding through the water like shadows dancing in sunlight. They passed beneath arches of coral, where shoal shells rested quietly on the ocean floor. A school of Remoraid swam close by, weaving between Lapras's flippers like little ribbons. The day was full of gentle movement and quiet laughter, soft and slow. At one point, Lapras paused, dipping its head beneath the surface to catch the cool water. Gyarados did the same, a ripple spreading between them. The journey home was not just about reaching a place. It was about the paths shared, the bonds held close, the quiet moments between tides. The sky stretched wide and blue above them, endless and calm. And just beyond the horizon, the shore waited. The sun began to lower, casting a warm golden glow across the sea. Lapras glided slowly through the calm water, its flippers moving with measured grace. The waves whispered soft goodnights, curling gently at its sides. Azurill nestled closer, sleepy eyes tracing the sparkling horizon. Gyarados swam beside them, slower now, almost as if savoring the moment. The sky deepened to a gentle amber, then faded into soft pink and purple. The water mirrored the colors, shimmering like liquid glass. Far off, a cluster of lights began to blink, lanterns floating softly on the waves. Lapras's gaze softened. Those lights were a sign, a beacon from home. The night wrapped around them like a cozy blanket. Stars appeared one by one, sparkling quietly above. Lapras lifted its head toward the sky, feeling the pulse of the sea beneath. The journey was nearly complete. Azurill yawned, nestling in for a rest. Gyarados circled gently, then paused to look toward the distant shore. A soft breeze carried the faint scent of familiar flowers and salt-kissed earth. Lapras breathed deeply, feeling the promise in the air. The shore was near. Warmth was waiting. But for now, they floated. Just for a little while longer. In the quiet glow of evening, with the stars shining softly, and the waves singing a lullaby of home, the moon rose slow and steady, silver light spilling across the calm sea. Lapras moved steadily toward the shoreline, each stroke of its flippers steady and sure. The water was cool and soft, cradling it gently as if welcoming it back. The stars above sparkled quietly, watching like old friends. Ahead, lights flickered, soft glows from lanterns bobbing in the harbor. Familiar shapes gathered on the beach, family and friends waiting patiently, their eyes bright with hope and joy. Lapras's heart fluttered with a quiet warmth. Azurill stirred awake, chirping softly. Lapras slid onto the shore, smooth stones greeting its flippers. The cool night air smelled of salt and wildflowers. A gentle cheer rose from the gathering crowd. Gyarados surfaced beside them, its fierce face softened in a rare smile. One by one, old friends came forward, Whelmer splashing gently, Mantine soaring overhead, even shy little Phoebus peeking from the shallows. Lapras lowered its head in quiet thanks, feeling the love that had waited patiently. Azrael hopped down, joining the circle of warm bodies. The night hummed with peaceful joy. No words were needed. Only soft glances, gentle smiles, and hearts full of home. Lapras closed its eyes, feeling the steady pulse of the sea beneath its shell. Here, at last, was rest. Here was belonging. Here was love. The journey had ended, and a new story was just beginning. The sun began to lower, casting a warm, golden glow across the sea. Lapras glided slowly through the calm water, its flippers moving with measured grace. The waves whispered soft good nights, curling gently at its sides. Azrael nestled closer, sleepy eyes tracing the sparkling horizon. Gyarados swam beside them, slower now, almost as if savoring the moment. The sky deepened to a gentle amber, then faded into soft pink and purple. The water mirrored the colors, shimmering like liquid glass. Far off, a cluster of lights began to blink, lanterns floating softly on the waves. Lapras's gaze softened. Those lights were a sign, a beacon from home. The night wrapped around them like a cozy blanket. Stars appeared one by one, sparkling quietly above. Lapras lifted its head toward the sky, feeling the pulse of the sea beneath. The journey was nearly complete. Azrael yawned, nestling in for a rest. Gyarados circled gently, then paused to look toward the distant shore. A soft breeze carried the faint scent of familiar flowers and salt-kissed earth. Lapras breathed deeply, feeling the promise in the air. The shore was near. Warmth was waiting. But for now, they floated. Just for a little while longer. In the quiet glow of evening, with the stars shining softly, the forest is still. Moonlight filters through the leaves, casting silver shadows on soft moss. Near a gentle stream, a small campfire flickers low. The warmth curls around the clearing like a hug. Ash sits quietly, eyes heavy, the day's adventures catching up to him. His Pokémon friends settle close. Pikachu curls in his lap. Bulbasaur leans against a tree trunk, and a sleepy Squirtle yawns softly near the fire. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves. The stars blink quietly above. Suddenly, a strange shimmer passes over Ash's face. He blinks once and then again. His skin feels cold, like stone. Slowly his body begins to stiffen. His smile freezes into place. Around him, the world slows. Pikachu nuzzles Ash's cheek, sensing something wrong. The firelight flickers across the smooth, unyielding surface that Ash has become. Silence stretches between friends. Tears begin to well in Pikachu's eyes, bright and clear, reflecting the moonlight. In that quiet moment, something stirs deep inside the forest, a magic older than time itself. A soft glow rises from the earth, wrapping the frozen figure in gentle light. But the journey to bring Ash back has only just begun. The soft glow surrounds Ash's stone form, a gentle pulse in the stillness of night. Pikachu's eyes shine bright with worry, but also with hope. Bulbasaur steps closer, vines trembling slightly, feeling the magic in the air. Squirtle watches, head tilted, curious but calm. The forest breathes quietly, leaves rustle like whispered prayers. From the shadows emerges a small figure, an ancient Pokémon, wise and kind, its eyes full of gentle light. It moves slowly, circling Ash, its presence warm and soothing. The ancient Pokémon lowers its head and sings a song without words, a melody that carries the weight of love and healing. The firelight flickers again, casting soft patterns on the ground. Pikachu's ears twitch. Its tail glows faintly, sparks dancing with emotion. Slowly, very slowly, Cracks begin to appear along Ash's stony surface, like the first thaw after a long winter. Tears spill from Pikachu's eyes, falling like drops of pure light onto Ash's frozen hands. The magic responds, shimmering and growing, wrapping Ash in a cocoon of hope. Around them, the forest seems to lean in closer, holding its breath. The moment is fragile. The journey to bring Ash back will be long and filled with wonder. But in this stillness there is a spark, a promise that love can break even the hardest stone. The morning light filters softly through the trees, painting gentle patterns on the mossy floor. Ash remains still, a statue touched by moonlight and memory. But now, delicate cracks trace his form, like fine veins of glowing crystal. Pikachu never leaves his side, resting its tiny head against the cold stone, eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Bulbasaur watches, slowly stepping closer, vines reaching out gently, as if to touch the warmth still hidden beneath the stone. Squirtle waddles back and forth, gathering water from the stream, then splashing it softly over Ash's shoulders, tiny droplets sparkling in the sunlight. The ancient Pokémon song continues, a quiet thread of sound weaving through the forest. Every tear Pikachu sheds seems to pulse with power. Each gentle touch from friends breathes life into the stillness. The forest itself seems alive with hope. Suddenly, a soft rumble echoes beneath the ground, a heartbeat awakening. Light spills from the cracks, growing brighter, warmer. A faint warmth stirs inside Ash's chest. The magic is awakening, but the path to fully return is still long. Love's power will need time to flow through stone and flesh alike. For now, the journey continues, slowly, beautifully, toward a new dawn. The sun climbs higher, casting warm light through the forest canopy. The cracks along Ash's stone form pulse gently, glowing softly like embers just before a flame. Pikachu remains close, its small body trembling with quiet determination. Bulbasaur and Squirtle sit nearby, their eyes reflecting the growing light. The ancient Pokémon hums a soothing melody, its voice blending with the rustling leaves and distant bird songs. A breeze drifts through the clearing, carrying scents of pine and wildflowers. Pikachu leans in, nuzzling Ash's cold cheek, then closes its eyes, letting tears fall freely. Each tear glimmers like a tiny star, and wherever they touch, the stone softens. Suddenly, a faint crack appears near Ash's lips. A subtle, almost imperceptible movement. The friends hold their breath. A quiet pulse flows through Ash's chest, like the first beat of a long, dormant heart. The stone begins to warm, as if life is stirring from deep within. Though still motionless, Ash's form seems less cold, less distant. Love is working its gentle magic. The journey is far from over, but hope shines brighter than ever. The forest hums softly as twilight approaches, casting warm, golden glow across the clearing. Ash's stone form shimmers faintly in the fading light. Cracks glow like veins filled with liquid light. Pikachu sits close, tears still flowing, each one a drop of pure hope. Bulbasaur gently wraps a vine around Ash's wrist, while Squirtle splashes small pools of water onto the stone, helping the magic to flow. The ancient Pokémon sings on, its melody rising and falling like the gentle breeze. Suddenly a soft crack appears near Ash's eye, then another near his fingers. A single breath escapes, a quiet whisper, carried on the evening air. Pikachu's ears perk up, its eyes shine bright. Life is returning. The friends gather close, hope wrapping around them like a warm blanket. The power of tears the strength of love working miracles that words cannot explain. Ash is beginning to come back. The moon rises high, casting silver light across the quiet forest. Ash's eyes flutter open slowly. The stone fades like morning mist, revealing warm skin beneath. A soft, shaky breath escapes him. Pikachu leaps joyfully, cheeks sparking bright. Bulbasaur's vines gently touch Ash's arms, steadying him with quiet strength. Squirtle splashes playfully nearby, celebrating with little bubbles. The ancient Pokémon smiles, its song soft and full of peace. Ash's lips curve into a gentle smile, the warmth of friendship and love surrounding him like a cloak. Tears of relief and joy fall freely, not just from Pikachu, but from every heart there. The forest seems to breathe with them, a living witness to the power of love. Ash stands slowly, still unsteady but alive. The journey had frozen time for a moment, but love's light brought him back. A new dawn breaks, bright, full of promise, and in the quiet, sleepy woods, friends gather close, hearts forever connected. Thank you for sharing this gentle journey with me. Sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with love and light. No matter where you are, soft blankets, quiet rooms, or nestled close, this is the place where gentle hearts rest and healing begins. Tonight we visit a special garden, a peaceful place where kindness blooms and every leaf, every petal, carries the promise of care. Morning light spills softly through the canopy of a vast forest. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves, carrying the sweet scent of blooming flowers and fresh earth. In the heart of this quiet sanctuary lies Bulbasaur's garden, lush and green, wrapped in vines and blossoms of every shade. Soft moss carpets the ground, and delicate flowers nod gently as if greeting visitors. Bulbasaur stands near a small pond, its eyes calm and tender. Around it, Pokémon of all kinds rest quietly, some healing from long journeys, others simply finding peace. A sleepy Oddish nestles beneath a fern, its leaves twitching gently as it dreams. A tired Pidgey rests its head on a patch of soft clover, feathers ruffled but content. Bulbasaur moves slowly through the garden, touching petals and leaves with care. Its bulb glows faintly, pulsing with gentle energy that seems to mend and soothe. Nearby, a young Caterpie slowly crawls over a soft patch of moss, pausing to nibble on a tender leaf. The garden hums with life, quiet, slow, and full of love. Bulbasaur pauses by a cluster of healing herbs, inhaling their calming scent. A soft rustle signals another visitor. A gentle Chansey steps into the clearing, carrying a basket of fresh berries and soothing balms. Together, Bulbasaur and Chansey tend to the garden's needs, their quiet teamwork a dance of care and kindness. Sunlight filters through the branches, casting warm patterns on the soft earth. The garden is a haven, a place where every Pokémon finds comfort. And today the story of healing begins. The sun rises higher, casting soft, golden light across the garden. Bulbasaur moves slowly among the flowers, its bulb pulsing with a warm, soothing glow. A tired Eevee lies curled beneath a flowering bush, its breathing slow and calm. Bulbasaur approaches quietly, touching a delicate leaf to Eevee's fur. A soft shimmer spreads through Eevee's coat, and its eyes flutter open, filled with gentle gratitude. Nearby, Chansey hums softly, mixing a balm from herbs gathered fresh this morning. The scent of lavender and mint fills the air, wrapping around the garden like a warm embrace. Slowly, Pokémon begin to stir. A tired Butterfree stretches its wings, feeling lighter, ready to take flight again. A weary Cubone nestles near a patch of healing moss, its eyes brightening with newfound strength. The garden breathes with quiet energy. Every leaf, every petal, every soft step on moss and soil carries the power to heal. Bulbasaur and Chansey work side by side, their movements gentle and steady. They tend to each friend with patient care, knowing that healing takes time and kindness. As the afternoon stretches on, the garden fills with soft whispers, Pokémon sharing quiet smiles, resting in the comfort of care. The garden is alive with hope, a sanctuary where even the weariest can find peace. And tomorrow, the garden's story will grow deeper still. The light softens as afternoon begins to wane, casting long shadows across the garden floor. Bulbasaur rests beside a cluster of sunflowers, its bulb glowing warmly in rhythm with the earth. A little Clefairy hops softly through the garden, carrying petals to sprinkle around a sleeping Snorlax. The gentle act brings a faint smile to Snorlax's peaceful face. Nearby, a group of small Pokémon gather, sharing stories and soft whispers as they rest. The garden feels like a cradle, where friendships grow as surely as flowers. Bulbasaur moves slowly to a patch of rich soil, digging gently with its vines. It plants tiny seeds, seeds of hope, care, and new beginnings. Chansey joins, placing fresh water near the seeds, their magic working together to nurture growth. Each seed holds a promise that every friend here will be cared for, and every hurt will find its healing. The garden is alive with quiet miracles, woven through every leaf and breeze. Even the smallest Pokémon find their place here, safe and cherished. As dusk approaches, the garden's glow deepens, filling the space with a tender light. The story of care continues, rooted in the simple, gentle acts of friendship. Tomorrow brings new moments, new chances to heal and grow. Evening settles softly over the garden, painting the sky with shades of pink and lavender. Bulbasaur moves slowly through the garden paths, his bulb glowing brighter in the twilight. The air hums with quiet magic. Around a clearing, Pokémon gather, resting and sharing gentle moments together. A sleepy Togepi nestles in a patch of soft clover, its tiny hands clutching a flower. Nearby, a gentle Jigglypuff sings a soft lullaby, its voice weaving through the air like a soothing breeze. The song wraps around the garden, lifting spirits and easing worries. Bulbasaur and Chansey share a look, knowing this harmony is part of the garden's healing power. The magic here is not just in plants or potions, but in the kindness shared between friends. A small Rattata approaches timidly, nuzzling Bulbasaur's leg as if asking for comfort. Bulbasaur lowers its head, offering a gentle touch that calms and reassures. The garden breathes with love and care, a place where every heart finds a safe harbor. As stars begin to twinkle overhead, the garden settles into a peaceful sleep. The story of care flows quietly onward, ready to bloom with the coming dawn. The night wraps the garden in a soft, velvety blanket. Stars shimmer gently above, twinkling like tiny lanterns in the sky. The garden glows faintly, lit by fireflies dancing in slow, graceful patterns. Bulbasaur rests beside the pond, its bulb pulsing with steady, warm light. Around the water's edge, Pokémon sleep peacefully, wrapped in the quiet comfort of the night. Chansey moves softly through the shadows, gently tending to a sleeping Marill with a light touch. The cool night air carries the scent of jasmine and fresh earths. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves, whispering lullabies. Every heartbeat in the garden slows and softens, breathing with the rhythm of rest and renewal. Bulbasaur's vines reached gently to touch a nearby bloom, encouraging it to open under the moonlight. The garden's magic flows like a gentle tide, washing over every creature, soothing every ache. No words are needed here, only quiet presence and care. The night is full of healing, and the promise of a new day waiting just beyond the horizon. The first light of dawn spills gently over the garden, painting everything in soft shades of pink and gold. Bulbasaur stretches slowly, its bulb glowing warmly with new energy. Around the garden, the Pokémon begin to stir rested, healed, and full of quiet joy. Tiny sprouts push through the earth where seeds were planted, promising new life and endless care. Chansey smiles softly, gathering fresh herbs to tend the garden once more. The gentle buzz of life fills the air, the song of friendship and healing, growing stronger every day. Pokémon play quietly among the blossoms, sharing laughter and warmth. Bulbasaur watches over them all, its heart full of love and peace. The garden is more than a place, it's a promise. A promise that care and kindness can heal even the deepest wounds. As the sun rises higher and the garden wakes fully, ready for another day of gentle healing. Thank you for spending this time in Bulbasaur's Garden of Care. May your heart be as peaceful and your spirit as gentle as this special place. As the stars twinkle softly above and the garden settles into a peaceful rest, let your own heart grow calm and gentle, just like this quiet place. Good night, dear friend. May your dreams be full of kindness, healing, and the soft glow of friendship. Sleep well and wake refreshed, ready to bloom anew with the morning light. Sweet dreams.